Welcome to the Solo CEOs, the podcast for solopreneurs by solopreneurs. Here we celebrate, commiserate, and problem solve all the world's craziness that comes with building a business on your own terms.
I'm Marilyn Johnson, a supplier development and supplier diversity consultant. And
I'm Terra Winston, executive coach and leadership consultant. And we are the Solo CEOs.
Yay!
Anyway, all right, so are we ready?
I've been ready. I was born ready.
We are so happy to be back with y'all. Marilyn, how is life?
Girl, life is good. I feel 10 pounds lighter because I think I just got rid of 20 pounds worth of hair. But anyway, everything is going well for me. How about you, Miss Tara?
You know, I couldn't be more excited because our guest today has a special place in my heart. Now, I know I say that a lot, and I love all of our guests the same, but we're here with, okay, not like I'm completely out you, so we're gonna mess everybody up. So we are here with LaToya Williamson, who is the founder and CEO of Virtually For You Business Services. However, she is also known in my life, my world, as my sunshine, right? So welcome, Sunshine, to the podcast.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Marilyn. Hello. Hey, TW. I am so excited to be here. And yes, everybody calling me Sunshine. That's fine. Y'all know. Come on now. You'll be calling me Sunshine too by the end.
That's exactly how it works, right? So outside of being one of the best people in my life, and the only reason that I managed to get anything done, she also is a very accomplished solo CEO. And so I want you to meet her in this context. Marilyn knows her very well in that context as well. And now, like, by the time we're done, you're going to see why she's basically the boss of my life.
Yes. I'm excited to be here. You know, like I woke up, even though I know y'all, which is so funny, but I know y'all, but I still had the stomach. You know how we get. Yeah, your stomach be going. I don't know why, but I'm just excited. I think I'm excited, to just talk about my journey and talk with you ladies, because y'all are like, I was just telling people on my Instagram today that you guys are like the OGs. Like, you're not old, but you're the OGs in the entrepreneurs, in the world. You guys
she had to fix that, right? You saw she fixed. She's like, OG. Oh, what I meant to say
not like, not old, but you guys have been doing your thing for years. And so I have learned so much from each of you that I bring into my own business. So I'm excited, to share what I've been doing in my business and the things that I have coming up in my business, and just, all the things, and getting real, for real, because I know that's what we talk about here in Solo
exactly.
CEOs. 100%.
And so, Sunshine, we have worked together for a long time. And for our audience, like Tara said, Sunshine has been supportive of us, and she commands Tara's life for quite a while. She actually commands mine too. But what was so interesting to me, and I think it is so important for people to understand, is how you got to where you were today. Like, you truly have that journey that when you start talking about solopreneurism, people sometimes don't know where to start. And then they think where they start has to be where they end up. They don't understand that there is that pivot. And because we've known you for so long and we've seen your successes, we're like, you know what, this lady is committed to solopreneurism and entrepreneurism, and she's done a whole bunch of stuff to get to where she is and continue to support us. So what I want to do is just ask you about your journey, lady. Let's start talking about, when did you really start thinking about starting your own business? Because FYI, people, she was a powerhouse in the corporate world as well.
Right.
Yes. And you know what? So TW is a big reason why I started my business. So Tara and I work together in our corporate life, and when she went out on her own, I just thought that was so brave. For somebody, you left a semi-cushy job, in the corporate world, to do your own thing, to follow your own purpose and do it your way. And so when she did that, that really did inspire me. And I think she was working probably maybe a year or so without me on her own.
I don't know how I did
And
it
I know,
somehow.
right? And she called me. I was so let me just back up. So I was an executive assistant in my corporate life, you guys. And so Tara and I, we worked on the same team. We had the same boss, but I still bossed her around because she was management on our team. So I still got to boss her around. So she still got to experience sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she left and went on her own, I remembered us talking like, okay, you just let me know if you need me. And she's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. All of that, right? So she had been doing things on her own. And I remember she called me one day because, of course, we kept in touch because we love each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so you just need me to come and tell you what to do. You just missed me. You missed me telling you what to do. And she's like, you know what? You're right. Yes, I missed you telling me what to do. And so that is really how my journey started, that I was working my 9-to-5 job still. And Tara needed my support. And so after hours, I would come home and I would help her with virtual assistant work. So helping her with calendar stuff here and there, helping her with presentations, helping her with invoices. And I mean, gosh, that was back in 2012. Okay.
Right.
2012.
Oh my God. It was earlier than that. Are you sure?
Yes, no, it was 2012 because I remembered like, okay, at a minimum, I need to have some kind of name for my business and I need to have possibly like a logo to put on an invoice. I don't know. And that was what I did. And that's when I filed my LLC for the very first time. And yeah, that was in 2012. So that's how it started, of me saying, let me help my friend, who needed support in her business.
So I'm gonna call shenanigans on you. And like,
what?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm calling shenanigans. Let me tell you why, right? Because again, I love the story. So this is why, now you see why I love Sunshine. Like, oh, Tara was so brave. But for years, even before, like when we were working together, like you've got this entrepreneur spirit. Like there wasn't a time when like what is Sunshine doing? LaToya went to massage school and she's doing massages. Like you always had a hand in something else that you wanted to do. Like that, like how long, like where did that spirit come from?
I think a lot of it came from me wanting control. Just to be honest.
Shocker.
You're real good about that, madam. You're real good about that, Tara. Because I can remember the first time I was introduced to Sunshine when we were looking for office space to just do some strategy work. And when you introduced me to her, she's like, oh, okay, here's what you need to do. Y'all go over there. Oh, and lunch is going to be at this time. And you need to have this done by this time. Oh, and then you need to be done. Oh, and I'm going to remind you. And I was like, oh, driving without the steering wheel. Okay. All right.
It just comes naturally to me, telling people what to do. So yeah, okay. So let me think. So let me go back. So
let's talk about, because you know what, for our listeners who might still be in their corporate jobs and they're still doing the other, like what like you said, you wanted that control.
Yeah.
So you just jumped out there and started taking different classes, or what was going on?
Yeah. So to Tara's point about massage school. So I had a boss, and I use the term loosely. I had a boss that I didn't get along with, to be honest. And I felt like I needed to have a backup plan. And so I was like, okay, if something go down on this job, I need to have a backup plan. And I don't want to be reliant on this job because, again, I need to have control, right? I try to have control where I can. And so that is what made me go to massage school. And so I did that before I even met TW. That was the job before her.
Yeah.
And so that's where that came from. And then it kind of just followed me along. And it's funny because in my mind, I will always say, I don't want to be the boss. Like, I'm just a behind the scenes kind of person. I'm just the one telling people what to do, but I don't want to have to like be in the forefront. But as time went on, and like, after I really started working with Tara, starting my own business part-time, I started seeing even in my corporate job, especially in the assistant world, this is how I got to have the type of business that I have, which we're going to talk about. But I started seeing how if you had the right boss, the right manager that let you do your thing, which I was very fortunate to have for most of my career, you could really excel and you could really grow and you could really do things. But I saw my peers being stifled a lot or not having the flexibility that they wanted. And so I started thinking about being a virtual assistant before a virtual assistant was a thing. Okay. I mean, not that I invented it or anything, but I
virtual
know,
assistant.
right? I know, right? I know for sure. Back in 2012, it wasn't a lot of people talking about being a virtual assistant. It was still very new.
Right.
And because I had worked for C-suite executives that traveled a lot, I was like, you don't have to be in the same place as your boss to get the work done. You just have to have the right, have the right relationship, trust, all of those things are important. And so that was kind of the wheel started going that, okay, if I can work for Terra as her assistant from home, not seeing her on a regular basis, other people can do it too. And so I really started thinking through, like, how can I help other people as I'm on this journey? How can I help other people be able to experience this that I was experiencing? And I knew that at some point I'm going to do this full time. Like, this is going to be my thing. And yeah, so I think that's really how it really started growing. I just started seeing people around me. And again, like I said, that need for control to have a backup plan. Like, this has got to be my backup plan.
Right.
So you started with virtual assistant, like yourself as a virtual assistant.
Yes.
But there's been an evolution even from that to virtually for you business services. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when I first started out, I kind of put myself in a box, which don't ever do this, you guys. I know so much now because I named my business Virtually For You Administrative Services. And I remember having a conversation with TW later on down the line, like, I do so much more and I want to do so much more than administrative services, which is how we came up with like business solutions, because it's like I want to be able to offer solutions to other entrepreneurs. So that's part of it. The other part is I realized in my executive assistant corporate job that I was always more than just an executive assistant. And I shouldn't say just, but you know what I mean? Like, I was more than that. I wasn't your typical assistant. And so I couldn't really use that. Well, virtual assistant isn't a title, it's an industry. So that was one thing. We had to start really educating people in the online space. You're in the virtual assistant industry. And so there's many jobs and roles and type of work that you could do in this industry. And that's what I really started focusing on. I really started focusing on, okay, what is the work that I actually do? What is it that I actually do for my clients, for people that I interact with, work with, even in my life, in my just regular life? How do I help my family and friends? What do they come to me for? And that's what I really started leaning into, like, okay, I'm not a virtual assistant. I'm not a virtual executive assistant. I think the more I learned about what it takes to run a business, and I still don't know everything, I'm still learning. And I am a really big learner. I know we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm learning what it takes to run a business, what it means to start a business, to grow a business. And it's like, man, so then I started seeing, well, I really do help people manage their business. I can help them do so much more than the assistant work. And that's how I started getting into what people call like online business managers. I started getting into that kind of work where it really is helping other solopreneurs manage their business. And I kind of lean into more of the operations because I'm good at organization. I'm good at thinking through and being a visionary and coming up with ideas. Tara knows anytime she comes with an idea, she hates it.
I love it.
No, she hates it because she'll be like, oh, I had an idea and you done just ran with it and turned it into something else. But I just realized that that's, I started really learning what my what I was strong, where I was strong. So that has really been, I think, instrumental for me. And as I'm leaning into that, I I am really leaning more into just showing sunshine, like really who I am. I think for the first time, probably, I don't know, a week or so ago, I shared, like, some people call me sunshine, some people call me poo. Like, I have people that call me the power of one, right? And and I laugh because it's like people are like sunshine. So I'm getting better at really showing who I am and truly what I do have to offer. But it has been a journey to get there.
So let's talk about, because you did open it up about you are a learner. So let's talk about you being a learner and where some of the lessons you learned came from.
Yeah.
So let's talk, where are you getting all of this stuff? Where can people look to learn more about operating a business, things like that?
Yeah. So I'm a people watcher just by nature. And so in the online space, I watch people. I watch how they run their businesses. And there are some people out there that are truly sharing knowledge in a way that really spoke to me. Not the salesy, sleazy, okay, I'm going to make you feel bad about the things you're not doing well. Like, not that kind of way, but people that are just genuine and sharing their knowledge. So like I'm not a put myself okay, this is gonna sound weird. Like, I'm not as extroverted as I seem. I'm also very introverted. Like, I like my me time. I'm very private. I have my circle of people, and those are my people. But it's harder for me to really open up to other people. So I really needed to learn more about that. So, like, in my marketing and really putting myself out there, and how do you get people to know, like, and trust you, that are complete strangers that will then be like Marilyn and TW, right? That know me, right? So that was one thing that I really, really had to learn. And so I started really looking to people that were doing it well, and doing it authentically. That was really, really important for me, because looking at people that are just trying to sell you a course or, their program or their services is not necessarily what I want. And I definitely don't want to be that. I don't want to be that kind of business owner. So I really, so I'm on Instagram a lot, to be honest. That is where I have found a lot of people that I've been able to connect with and learn from. And so I've been trying on the things that they share, and I try it on to see what works for me. And I think that's the huge thing as far as us in our businesses, that we're experimenting. We're trying things on to see what works and see what doesn't work. And it's okay if it doesn't work, because I done had some things that did not work for sure. And that's okay. I think now more than ever, I have just really been able to feel comfortable with what I'm doing in my business and where my business is going, but doing a lot of learning. And you can learn too much. Now, trust me, you can learn too much, where it's kind of like, okay, you're doing a lot, and you're like, you don't want to get to the place where you're just trying to learn, and you're not doing. So it's like, you learn and you put it into action. You learn and you put it into action. And that's how you can really figure out what works and what doesn't work.
How do you know, though, like, because I know you've taken some courses, because you always, not only is she a learner, she's a sharer.
She's a sharer and a teacher.
She will tear she has shared more stuff with Terra and I. But how do you know when you're in the midst of this, you're like, I don't think this is the right thing. How do you know when to move on? Because some people stay in that space and then they feel like they're trapped. You, on the other hand, which is why we wanted you to come on and talk about, you know how to pivot. You're like, this is not working. And the next thing, she's done with it. How do you know? And then how do you get comfortable with that? Because some people are just not comfortable with it.
Yeah. It truly is the mindset of not everything is going to work. And so I have adopted let me try it. If it feels good to me, then I will keep going with it. If it doesn't, then forget it. Okay, whatever. Look, put it on my tax deductible, whatever it is, right? And just move on to the next thing. Like, okay, that or okay, I got a couple of things from it, but the rest of that I'm not going to do. That's not me. And I move on to the next thing. But it it helps me because now either way, whether it worked or not, I can see it as, okay, well, that's not something I would do. I still learned something, right? Even though I didn't learn necessarily what they wanted me to, or it might not have, that success didn't, it isn't a transparent success. For me, it's like I learned what not to do. And that's how I look at it. I learned what not to do.
Well,
and
yes.
in your gut. I loved it.
Exactly.
But
yes.
I mean, I'll take it even a step further around kind of the fact that you're also a sharer. Like what I have admired so much on your journey of embracing this experimentation, you don't do your experimenting behind the scenes. You're actually very transparent with people on your Instagram, in your stories, and kind of anyone that works with you, they know, like you're like, look, I did this. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm not gonna do this, and this is why. Right. And I think that's the piece that makes it, just really beautiful, because it's not how everyone is. Like, just so y'all know, all your faves out there are doing the same thing, only they don't tell you until it's way too late. They won't share that this is the actual evolution. This is how success works. And Sunshine, I've been so just thoroughly proud and impressed that you bring us with you on this journey. And I think that's the secret to your success, that you don't earn the name Sunshine from everybody around you, without it being intimate, and the fact that you're willing to give us who you really are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, she does. And it's funny because as no one outside of our community really understands, she was the driving force behind the podcast.
Yes, I said, so wait a minute, y'all need to do it.
It's okay.
I said, y'all need to do it.
Driving force, is that shorthand for nagging?
Yeah.
Is that how you define that?
Making you feel guilty.
Whatever.
And she'll throw it out at us, and Tara's really nice about it, and I'm like, no. And then a week later, I'll say something. She says, yeah, that's what I told you last week. But here's the thing that we need our audience to understand is, this is the importance of a community. This is truly the importance of a community, because there's somebody in your community that is looking for that person that's willing to share. Be that person. That's the only way we can continue to go and grow, is to be that person. And Sunshine, thank you for being our Sunshine, being the learner and the sharer. And when Terra and I was talking about this talk, I said, I just am always in awe that you never stop. It's like, oh, there's something else out there. Let me go figure this out. And then you do. And like you said, you follow your gut. It feels good. I'll keep it going. And then here's the thing. It feels good. She keeps it going. And then she tells us.
Yes. Yes. And, I really do appreciate that, because sometimes in this online space, people will try to put you in a box. And don't put me in a box. I don't like that. And I think that's just part of my MO, that I am that, you guys know from Forrest Gump, and when Bubba was talking about all the things you could do with shrimp. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she was talking about doing something with grapes. And I was like, oh my gosh, you could do frozen grapes, you could do candy grapes, you could do, and I started telling her all these things, and she's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, well, I read a lot, or I watch a lot, or before, and so that makes me, even if I can't apply what I'm learning, someone else might be able to. That also is my incentive to learn and share, because number one, I want people to do that for me, because sometimes I'm like, what the heck am I doing? I have no idea. And to see somebody else on their journey, or doing things that are difficult or challenging, that encourages me, that inspires me. And so I do try to be an inspiration to others and help where I can. We're not alone on this journey. I mean, it's so different than like corporate, right? Where, that is, if I had to say one thing that I miss from corporate, it was when you worked with a really, really good team, right? And so that's why building a community like what we have, and what I'm building in my own business, that's important to me. And that's whole reason why I'm building the type of business that I'm building, building an agency type business, because I do want to have that community. That's the thing that I loved, being able to bounce ideas off of each other, and, being able to share your wins or to share your frustrations, and get through them, so I think that's a big reason too why I, share. Plus, I'm just like, I try, I just want to help.
Okay, so what's one thing you learned the hard way that you want to share with the Solo CEO community?
Okay, so
you like, oh my God, let me think about it.
I know.
Let's do the ranking.
I know, right? What happened? Okay, so I think more than anything, if just one thing, because it leads into so many other things, is truly knowing what you want out of your business, but also, you know what? Let me take that back. What you want out of your life. Start there. What do you want out of your life? And then how can you use your business to give you that? Because if you don't know that, no matter what kind of training you get, no matter what kind of coaching you get, if you're not clear about that, you're going to constantly run into like struggles. And so I had an experience where I had hired a coach to help me in my business. And I'm not going to say like they were a bad coach or anything, because it truly was more than, it was more that I had lost my vision of what I wanted for my business. I had started getting wrapped up in what everybody else was doing, thinking that I was the way that I needed to go to be successful. And then I was like, you know what? No, that's not me. That doesn't feel right. And I was wondering why I was feeling stalled in my progress. And it was because I wasn't being authentic to me. And so what the coach was telling me to do was, those are typical things that most people would tell you to do. And, yep, I see people being successful doing that, but that wasn't me. That wasn't Sunshine. I wasn't LaToya. That's not how I wanted to run my business. That's not the way that I wanted to build my community online, all of those kind of things. And so that was a very expensive lesson that I learned. But it was also like, I learned what I didn't want, and it brought me back full circle to why I started my business in the first place. It gave me further confirmation that, hey, that original vision that I had on my little roadmap that I have, like my whole empire that I'm trying to build on my piece of paper, my little vision board, whatever you want to call it, that I have on my piece of paper, I have laminated, okay? All the things that I want to accomplish in my business, it brought me back to say, you know what, that's still the right answer for me. That's still going to give me the life that I want. And so that was, like I said, it was an expensive lesson, but it was just a good lesson. So now I'm just full steam ahead of like, yes, I know exactly what I'm trying to do. I know exactly how I want to do it. And, and I'm going to be successful because now I can really just show up as me, and I can do it how I want to do it. And I will attract the right people. I mean, just things are coming my way, which is so crazy. Just even in the past week, that it's like opportunities are happening and things. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, oh, that's right. Because you're being authentic to you. Like you're putting it out there. So I think that is just more important than anything that you could do in your business. Like, I mean, we could talk about getting your business, the operations of your business, behind the scenes, we could talk about all of that, but if you don't know where you want to go, and it's not an end all of once you get there, now what? It's just what are you reaching for? If you're clear about that, then all the steps you take are going to help you to get there, and you just enjoy that journey. That is, I've been learning that as well. Just enjoy the journey of getting to that end, that quote unquote end, where then I can start something else. I want to accomplish that thing, and then I'll go on to the next thing, right? But it's always going to be something that you want to accomplish. But just that being authentic to you and knowing truly what your vision is I think that's number one.
That's, what you're saying is so inspiring, because some people do hit a stall. And a lot of times, just like with you coming out of corporate, a lot of times people decide, you know what, I don't know what I want to do. I know what I don't want to do. And you have been incredibly successful in just kind of mapping out the team that's going to make you successful. Even as a solopreneur, you have mapped out. And that's kind of what it seems to be, because as we all know, when you're in a corporate job, if you're on a solid team that's encouraging and inspiring, you can do all kinds of things. But it takes that one time to get on a team where your leader might not be on board, or you guys might be misaligned, and then it derails everything.
Absolutely.
By doing this, you have now created the dynamite team that keeps you moving.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to even growing, you know. Even though I said I didn't want to be a leader, I want to be behind the scenes.
I don't think anybody listening to this would believe you, but keep going.
No, wait a minute. So for everyone who's listening to this, just so you know, when we first started my business, like everyone, like my support team, even though they weren't employees, everyone got business cards, and I let everyone choose their title. Sunshine, would you like to share your title?
Well, I said I was the boss.
Yeah, her business cards read the boss. So for all that,
who doesn't want to be in charge, I didn't
want to be a leader.
I didn't.
Continue your story. Go ahead, the boss.
I know, but you know, I mean, I guess when you just have natural, you know, tendencies, I mean, it just happens. And that's literally what happened to me. Like, it literally just happened that I was like, oh, okay. I felt it happening. Like, I'm going to actually have to hire people and tell them what to do on a regular basis, not just my clients that I tell what to do, which is actually pretty funny because my clients will hire me to work for me, because that's pretty much what you guys do. you pay me to work for me because I'm the one that's telling you what to do.
Pretty much. That's how this. Hey, Marilyn, should I rethink my life?
You know, no, don't, because you know what
it's working. Because it's working.
She's going to come in and orchestrate and stir some stuff up anyway. But also, one message that I'm loving is this didn't happen overnight.
No.
And people got to understand, it takes time. You're going to go through some lumps and bumps throughout the journey. It takes time, but Sunshine, never once did you lose your focus.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It gets
this is because I'm not where I want to be, obviously 100%, of course. But for me, this is the only option. I cannot even imagine having to go to work in a 9-to-5 job. Like, what? No, no, like I cannot, like, that's not an option. So I have to do what I got to do to make this work. And I have been slow in my progress because it's been intentional. It really has been, because I don't want to get to the point of like you see so many people talk about online, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Oh yeah, you know, I started my business 3 months ago and I'm already at 6 figures, but yet you're burnt out, you're stressed out. Now you're trying to change your whole framework and infrastructure of your business because you know that's not sustainable. I don't want that kind of growth. I want sustainable growth, slow, steady growth where I can enjoy my business. Even now, I can be stressed out sometimes, but I'm still enjoying my business. I'm still enjoying the journey that I'm on. And patience has definitely been a virtue in this whole journey, because I am the kind of person, you know, kind of like Marilyn, what you were talking about earlier, is like, how do I know when something isn't working? Well, you know, I make that decision and I quickly move on to the next. I'm like that in my life. Like, I want things. If I need something, I'm going to go get it, and that's it, you know? And so this has definitely been a challenge, but it's taught me so much about, you know what? When the time comes, everything, like I'm stacking my dominoes. I'm creating a beautiful design, and then all that one little domino that's going to tip over and everything is going to fall into place, and it's going to look like I got instant success, you know, like, oh, she got it. But it's because I've been stacking and building this whole time, and then all I just need is that one thing, you know. And so
there's something about like you talk about investing, right? Investing time and energy. The thing that I've really been
money.
Wait, say that again for the cheap seats.
Money. You have to invest
but
money.
You know what? Here's the thing: you got to pay to play.
Yes. Right. Like it matters. But I've watched you do this over time, and I think what people also don't recognize, that investment is also around like along with your values, right? Like the integrity about your product and what you bring, you know, because I think there is a space in it, like particularly like in the online world that you spend a lot of time in. Like people are so busy just putting stuff out there just to get out there and to try to grow what you have. What I've seen you do is invest a lot of time and energy, particularly in the virtual assistants and the other resources you bring on your team. You're investing in them. Like you're not just like, hey, come out here, let me throw you out there. You're really helping them be more successful for themselves, but also so they can support the kind of reputation that you have with your clients, right?
Yes.
Like you're putting a lot of time and energy into that. And again, those are the things that are invisible for a lot of people, but that's going to be the secret to your current success and the secret sauce for where you're going to be later.
Yes. I mean, and that's truly important to me more than anything, the integrity of the work that I do and the people that I work, because I work with amazing people and I want them to have the best. They deserve the best. And so I could not in good conscience just be trying to do just any old thing. Like that's not going to happen. And anybody that's working with me for my clients, they're not gonna just do anything either. Like, no, you're representing me. And so you have got to be at a certain level. And, you know, and that I think too is not just for me though, because like you said, it's going to help them as well. You know, I've had people, and I wish I could work with everybody because that's when they get the sauce, you know, because I've had people, other virtual assistants that work with me, they're like, oh, I see how you're doing it. I'm trying to be like you. Like, I'm trying to do it the way you do it. Now I see why you're doing it that way. I understand, you know, and sometimes it's hard to put that out there, you know, in the online space. I've been working on that. I've been working on how can I really give people that experience of what it's like to work with me behind the scenes so that they can learn for themselves, you know, and it's not my way. I mean, it's kind of my way. Like, I mean, there's only one sun. It's only one sunshine. Exactly. But you know, you can put your own spin on it, but okay, this is a best practice. Like I like to share, like these are things that are universal that can work with, you know, and that can help your clients for the long term. Like these are not just, you know, trends that I'm sharing with you. These are things that, you know, I've been doing in, you know, my corporate life and my entrepreneurial life. And so I'm happy to share that with others, because at the end of the day, the whole point in starting my whole business is to help others. And so if I can help in whatever way that I can, then, you know, that's what I try to do.
Okay. So since you spent your entire career helping others, one thing that's so powerful about the Solo CEO community is that we help each other, right? How can this community support you?
I mean, I get so much already. You know, I see all the behind the scenes. Look, I help with like what kind of content we gonna put out. Okay, I need help with this. So can we get somebody to speak on this? But I mean, I think if anything, just more transparency. If I could ask for anything, it's that, you know, more transparency and even maybe more like mentorship. Like just real mentorship in this entrepreneur online space, because, you know, it's different, you know, like when you work in corporate, and of course, you know, because we have an HR background, you know, we worked on mentorship programs and sponsorship programs, you know, for employees. And I think that's something that's missed in the entrepreneur space, not like in a coachy, get my program, not that kind of way, but truly like a mentor, you know, like how you get maybe in like masterminds, I guess. That's like probably the closest thing I can think of, is like that kind of thing where you can go to that community and you can ask the questions when they come up, because I think that's more than anything. I don't know what to ask until I'm in it. Then it's like, oh man, I feel like I need to know more about this, or I didn't know that I was going to run into this. Right. So I think more than anything, that kind of thing. So when you have the transparency and then you have, you know, that kind of more mentorship, I think that would be really helpful.
That sounds great. And I'm also going to add, if anyone wants to support Virtually For You Business Solutions, what I understand is there's a phenomenal online business manager who has great virtual assistant services. What types of clients are you looking for?
Yes. So I work with other executive coaches and business consultants, specifically ones that work with other corporations and brands, because that is my sweet spot. Also in the diversity and inclusion space for sure, because I did that for many, many years. And I start off offering just strategy sessions, VIP days. Y'all want to pick my brain? Y'all want to know, you want me to tell you what you need to be doing in your business? Then, you can do that. We can talk. Yeah, those are the main ways. And I am open to have conversations in the DMs and messages. I'm open to that. Like, you don't have to feel locked in. We can have a conversation as like human beings first before you say, I'm gonna give you all my money.
And so now, how can our audience find you?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at LaToya K. Williamson, and then you can also go to www.latoyawilliamson.com. That is my main site, y'all. I'm trying to, you can start there. I do have a business site, but it's super long. We'll put it, where you guys can find it if you want to go to my business site. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn, LaToya K. Williamson on LinkedIn. I love to connect and see what everybody is doing. If nothing else, let's just connect.
And she too will boss you around.
Exactly.
So now, for a fact that like we can't work without playing. We don't get to work without laughter, because otherwise we will all fall out, right? So our slogan, my work, my way. This is how we play.
Yes.
Sunshine, yes. LaToya Williamson, how do you play?
Let me see. Okay, so pre-pandemic, right? Travel is what I really, really love to do in my spare time. And not that I have a whole lot of spare time, but I can work from anywhere if I want to, if I choose to. But I am not a stranger to saying I'm shutting it down. No, I'm not working on that day. I've gotten really good at saying that. So travel is what I want to do more of, because I am a newlywed still. I can't believe we've been married for almost 3 years, but we still
do we still get to count that as newlywed?
It is. We still newlywed.
Okay. I'm suspect. It's suspect.
And most of our time we were in pandemic. We didn't even get a chance to do anything. So we, so now traveling with my husband I would love to be able to do that more, because we've literally only been on 2 trips as a married couple. So I want to get back into doing travel. And then I love to cook, y'all. So
I was about to say hello.
Those are my 2 things that I love to do: travel and cook. And not just cooking. I love to try recipes. That is my thing.
And you can see some of this on Instagram.
That's right.
Yes, on my personal Instagram. So if y'all want to follow me there too, you can at the LaToya KW. The LaToya KW is where I share all my recipes on my Instagram. Yes. Yes.
Sunshine, I could talk to you forever, and I probably will hang up and call you right after this and talk about something else. I am so excited that I could share you with the world, because you're special.
Don't be getting mushy now.
I am like you are so special to me and to so many people, and the work that you do, speaking with my solopreneur hat. Like Mel and I talk about all the time, like we can't do these things alone. Like we have to build support services and a network around us. And there's a difference between having a vendor versus having a family that you build. Yes. And thank you for being my family, for caring about my business in a way that feels deeper than just transactional, right? This is what SoloCEO is about, and our community is about. And thank you for modeling that before the community existed.
Yes.
And listen, I can tell the folks, y'all need to go get you a piece of sunshine. You need some sunshine in your life, because going down this journey, you need that. You need that support. You need that laughter, because there have been some tough days that Terra and I have faced, and we get on the phone with Sunshine and she starts laughing, and it's just like, you know what? I needed that. Sometimes you don't even know you need it, and you do.
It's like me and Marilyn, we cussing up a storm, and Sunshine comes in like, okay.
And laugh, like, hey y'all, what are y'all talking about?
Yeah, that would be the pre-recorded before we hit the record. Yes. But there was a bit of
that already.
I was like, what are y'all doing?
That's okay. That's okay. So yes, everybody get some sunshine, but not so much that I can't have some, because I feel like I'm feeling some kind of way about this now.
Well, you the one who brought it up. But
I know. But so LaToya, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for being you. Audience, thank y'all for listening. Hopefully, number one, if you don't steal my sunshine too much, but number two,
I'll never listen.
But
thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the Solo CEOs, please share this podcast with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest, you can follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram at the Solo CEOs, or stop by our website for videos, resources, and other great stuff. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.